Hello, everyone. It's 9 p.m. Friday. Friday is the time for N1P Podcasts. And welcome everyone to N1P Podcast. It's another session of Open Baskets. And today we will discuss very hot topics, but some of them are more entwined with what's going on today and what we want to what we want for our people in broader sense. So tonight's show will be about group economics, power economics, black economics, or African economics, with a Pan-African aspect, and also, as always, bring back some historical aspects to further bring a solid foundation for the struggle at large. So what I want us to do first is to have a brief discussion, or I will actually just discuss some other things that I feel is very important for us to understand, and it's economics. So before I start anything, I would first try to get this video going so that people can understand what I'm going to speak about. So it's going to be about building blocks of group economics. And the person that's going to speak is Dr. Claude Anderson. And he's a very great individual in a sense of economics. And what he does is that he literally, makes people understand and breaks down the actual fundamentals of economics and group economics. And what he does is that he actually presents something very, very, very unique in this information in this very short 3 minutes video. Hopefully you guys will like this video. I will start sharing it, and it's for educational purposes for anyone that out there that wants to know anything about this. So I will start sharing my screen. This is the option I have. So let's gonna do this instead. Hello, good afternoon or good night, Kale. I hope everything is good with you. Welcome into N1P Podcast. What I'm going to do now is to share the video that I have, but this is quite new for me still. So bear with me, brother. Let me see if I can do this. The thing is with the audio, I don't know actually how to get the audio going. Microphone, stereo audio. This is this is quite hard for me. I went in and I actually went into a video to learn about this, but yeah, hopefully people will hear. Do you guys can you hear this, Kale?
You can hear it, brother. How you doing, brother?
You all right? Can you hear the video?
No, I can just see a black screen and just hear you at the moment.
Okay, that's the thing. I'm trying to share the actual video
Right.
on the YouTube, but it's quite hard too. So let me just, yeah, it's very hard, man. I'm trying to share my screen. Should I do it on slides? No. Share extra, no extra camera.
Are you on settings or you just
Yeah, I'm
browsing?
on. No, I'm not settings. I was on share screen. Share. Should I go to
Okay.
settings?
I was going to say if you're finding it difficult, perhaps settings will have some of instructions, wouldn't it, to help you out?
Yeah, but it's not helping me right now. So I will just continue with this and try to figure out how to get the video going. Anyways, today, as you know, brother, we are going to speak about group economics.
Right.
We are going to speak about group economics in a Pan-African aspect. And as you always know, we always bring in a little bit of this historical aspects to it to further bring the solid foundations for the struggle at large, so that people can understand that there's a lot more to the actual word group economics. So, group economics itself is a traditional word that is actually stems from out of Africa, to be honest, and it stems out
Right.
of the traditional economic system that Africa had. And that actually goes all the way back to, they call it Stone Age, but I wouldn't say Stone Age. We thrived at that age. We had our own golden age when others had their Stone Age. Um,
That's right.
uh, yeah, so that's why I just wanted to, discuss a little bit about this. So I even found an article from the Streets by Brian O'Connell, and
Okay.
he's talking
Yeah.
about, yeah, so he's talking about traditional economy and the definition, characteristics, and examples, and he's using the Maasai tribe as an example for this.
Oh.
So, my question is to you, Kale. What is your view on group economics and powernomics within the Pan African movement, and what is it that we can actually, transform by using these types of systems, economical systems, to further strengthen our communities, and also to bring back the economy, the black dollar or the black pound. Um, your thoughts on this?
Well, I definitely agree with what you were saying, brother. Economics, we as
Yeah,
African people are the teachers of economics. I mean, if you go historically, for example, um, when we look at the scriptures, for example, it tells us that um, Joseph
yeah,
had a dream that there's going to be seven fat cows that's going to eat seven skinny cows, and there's going to be seven fat corns that's going to eat seven skinny corns, and you know, and in the understanding of that is that he had to understand that the creator is going to make a drought. So for 7 years, he needs to stock up the stock, sorry. So after
yeah.
the
Cook the food or whatever
drought,
it's supposed.
so
Yeah,
this we know in Africa once again is economics.
yeah,
Um, when we look around on the African continent, as well, just explain that it seems to be a skill of
mm,
economic and our wealth, our livestock. So if we look at it present day, is that how do we get out of our situation? And you know, as what Dr. Claude Anderson beautifully says, as I always say, he says that we as a people have to come up with a name for ourselves. And with that name, we accumulate our black businesses.
Mm.
So if you are a tradesman, maybe electrician or a barber, or if you know, a teacher or mechanic, whatever.
Mm. I think you went out, my brother. I think your mic just vanished. Something happened to your mic. Yeah, so within that time, we're still going to have the discussion about traditional economical systems, Pan-Africanism. Yeah, so now I hear you. What happened? Something happened to your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you better now. Now I hear you.
I think
Something
it's just the connection, but yeah. So you know, from there he says that, you know, when we've accumulated our money from our businesses, you know, we use the money and we rent and buy politicians to further our political agenda. And after that, we accumulate money from our business again and we buy the police department and the court system, so we can have rights and maneuver in certain ways with the police and the court system. After that, he says that we use our money again from our businesses and buy the media. So our agenda is on radio stations, on TV, advertisements,
propaganda. Yeah.
and then we bring it onto the African continent. And we use the apply everywhere. So yes, economics is definitely important and it's the way forward. Everyone else does it, but we are
not exactly. That's the thing, because the thing is, Africa has a humongous opportunity, and it's still very very new in its so-called Western economy. So it's so much opportunities that Africa do have, exactly. So when we look at the economy of Africa, it consists of trades of industry, like industrial economy, agricultural, and human resources of the whole continent. From 2019, approximately 1.3 billion people were living in 54 countries in Africa. Africa is a resource-rich continent. Recent growth has also been due to growth in sales, in commodities, service, and manufacturing. So these three things are things that we need to also focus on as an economy, as a growing economy, because everybody needs commodities. Everybody needs commodities, and Africa has abundance of commodities. We have services. We are the continent for service. We are very polite. We are very our people are very hospitable. So when people come to Africa, they always have this, I miss Africa, because Africa has that feel to it. Yeah. So it has history. It has it has charisma. It has traditions. It has cultures. It's so rich in every little thing. So of course people were jealous towards our kings, walking around with gold and robes. Of course people were jealous, man. It's like the guy is walking with I don't know how many wives, and he's having his kingdom, and then the other empires around the world is looking at us like, man, these guys are chilling. They have the sun, they have the resources, they have everything. And we want peace. We want a piece of that. Because they didn't have that, bro. That's the thing. So I do understand that there was major factors behind colonization, etc. And also the destruction of our cultural heritage. I understand there has to be something that made it made it very lucrative for them to come to us and to do their thing. because I know for sure that El Dorado was not in South America. The real El
Hmm.
Dorado was actually Africa.
That's
Uh,
right.
and it's actually said in the Wakanda movie. It
Yeah.
says that this guy is having a map. He says, "Yeah, well, the real El Dorado is not in South America. It's in Africa. It's in Wakanda." So they already said that in the movie. And I'm 100% sure that we were the actual El Dorado, but our people, our ancestors, must have given the maps to Columbus for him to get lost. Honestly, more than come to our continent, because if as you know, as a colony, as a colonialist, Spain didn't have nothing. They only had a small little bit like Western Sahara in Africa. They did not have anything else in Africa, Spain itself. Um, and then afterwards, all of a sudden, you have all the European countries coming to Africa all of a sudden. And I'm sure it's because they didn't find the amount of treasures that they found in the African soil. So yeah, most definitely there has to be something behind all of these things. Also speaking about Africa as a whole, has an abundant amount of natural resources, but much of its economy has remained predominantly agricultural, yeah, and substance farming, still engaging more than 60% of the population itself. So 60% out of 1.3 billion people, that's a lot of people doing agriculture. But the thing is, we do have a lot of people. We have commodities, we have services. Now we have manufacturing, and the manufacturing business is growing, is blooming in Africa. We have a lot of different countries with a lot of population that are starting to start manufacturing goods that they have domestically and sell it to the rest of the world, which I think it's is very good, and a part of that letter going up towards a stable economy where we will actually be able to provide certain necessities like proper education, proper infrastructure, proper um, proper tourist business. All of these things that we are waiting for to actually invest in as a diaspora will come into flourish, but it's going to take some time for it to happen. And I think we, as the new generation, have an immense amount of opportunities to get involved into the African economy and also get involved into what we are seeing as an economical boom in Africa or in the world, actually. So, a good example of an early origin of traditional economy comes from the Maasai tribe in East Africa. Their tribal leaders designed an economic model where decisions on labor and production and distribution of products and goods were based on the tradition and community customs. And that's when we want to come back to the Pan African aspect of this, is that we as Pan Africanists, there's a lot of different genres in the actual word Pan African. So some people will say they are Garveyists. Some people will say they are, Pan African socialists, Pan African anarchists, Pan African, capitalist. There's all of it is there, and all of them are there for a purpose for us to clarify which one is the best suited for our future generation. So Pan-Africanism is definitely something that we have to discuss, and and also bring forward so that people can join the actual movement itself. Because as we know, the movement died off, or it doesn't really. It's like scattered around the globe. It's still an international movement, but it's like scattered all over the world, and that's why we need to find the common denominators that we all can invest in as Africans, and see that there is an ideology within Pan-Africanism that all of us can share and all of us can join, um, and that's the main goal. So let me just go through this article as well from the streets, uh, written by Brian O'Connell, and he's discussing the term traditional economy, and that it also would appear to mean the market focused U.S. economy Americans have experienced for hundreds of years. Yet, a deeper look reveals a significantly different meaning of traditional economy, one that relies more on culture, customs, and local history than the dollar bill, cent, profits, or losses. While certain elements are similar to in the traditional and capitalistic economy, production and labor trade are common. The gulf widens when you start looking at real world examples of traditional economy or economies, and also economy where cows can replace cash, and where communities can literally be on the move looking for better economic conditions, has an interesting story to tell. So, what's your thoughts on traditional economical systems? Do you know anything about traditional economical systems in Africa?
Well, I
Okay.
know, for example, a bit what the indigenous North Africans used to do, how they used to extract the water through the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
what they used to do. It was very ingenious of them, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
way of kind of using like some form of a bag, and extracting the water from the ground, and they made it as like a moat, um, something where, like, for example, if you was to dig something around a fortress and then
Yeah.
allow the water to stay in its place, they did something like that in North Africa, the
Mm-hmm.
indigenous Black North Africans. So we can say that is definitely economics. However, if we put that into modern day, brother, is that we can have these traditional ways of economics,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to apply it with a nationalistic way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that
Yeah,
is
we had a discussion. I think we had a discussion, a very good discussion yesterday. I don't know
right.
if you remember what you said, but if you can say that today, that will be perfect for this podcast. To be honest, you
I
were speaking
can't
of,
right. I
yeah,
can't
you were
remember if
speaking
you can
about,
remind me.
yeah, I think you were speaking about group economics,
Right.
and the ways of group economics, and what we can do as a group, as a Black group here in the West,
Oh,
to further our economical situation to a situation which is far much better than what it is today. I think you came up with, you spoke about Black, um, Black enterprises. We're starting Black enterprises where the black dollar or black pound or euro stays within the community. So you have people incentives getting incentives of some form by opening up their business. They gather money, open up a business, and from there, and then make sure that people come buy from them, and then recreate that type of system, but in another black community. So it goes to different black communities all over the actual Europe or wherever in the West. And then from there, we then have a network like SpiderNet network of different, different hotspots where we are selling our commodities. We are selling our manufactured goods that we made ourselves with our own brands, and also with some form of trademark, that tells that we are a black business or a Pan-African business, so that when people or customers come in and buy, we can actually make sure that these individuals that are buying actually sees that the money that they are spending goes back into their communities. And with that being said, it will also guarantee that future generations in these group settings will gain as much as anyone else or any other creed or race or ethnicity on this earth. I think it's very important for us to see these things as important. So by definition, group economics is when a collective group pools their money together to benefit a common interest. A great example of group economics was the Black Wall Street, as we all know about, a district in Tulsa, Oklahoma in America. Was funded and developed by African Americans that grew and flourished as a black community economic hub. And what people don't understand is that that city or that area, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, was actually the richest neighborhood on earth.
That's right.
Per capita, it was the richest neighborhood on earth. And that's powerful. Like, that's like, I can't say too much. That's power. That right there is power. And as we all know, people got jealous. Like we were in Africa, people got jealous, and certain things happened. And for the audience, if you guys don't know about Black Wall Street, go into any video on YouTube speaking about Black Wall Street in the district Tulsa, in the city Tulsa, and the area called Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Check it out and see for yourself what actually happened at that time. We have 6 different ways of looking at group economics, and I am actually going to put this up for not only me to see, but for others. Let me just my internet is lagging a lot today. So before, okay, it's not gonna work. Okay, so before I go through that, are you still there, Kale? Do you have anything else to put forward on the table for the Black community or African community around the world?
Well, it's exactly what you were saying. You gave some great examples of historical ways, like the Messiah, and as well as modern day, the modern day African descendants, the African Americans, they built a powerhouse in America. So it's very clarified on my behalf from what he says.
Perfect. So 6 ways that group economics build wealth within the Black communities. So keywords to take with this is that group economics is when a collective of Blacks or collective people, a group of people, pools their money together and benefit a common interest. An increasing number of Black Americans or Blacks all over the world are participating in group economics to build wealth. But African Americans are the ones that are actually doing the work. And that's why we're using them as an example, because they're actually doing the work. They are purchasing from Black businesses. It helps them to employ people within their own economical community that are that will close the racial gap, the racial wealth gap, and economically empower Black families and individuals. Hiring Black people and Black employees will also help to close the significant and long-standing racial gap within the job market itself. The practice of group economics is becoming more popular, especially since it's also becoming a more recognized way to build wealth with your family, friends. By definition, group economics is also when a collective group pools their money together to benefit a common interest. A great example of group economics was Black Wall Street, like we said, in the district Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was funded by African Americans and grew and flourished as a Black economical hub. The awareness surrounding the need for group economics has become more widespread, even within the pop culture itself. Last year, several NBA players wore jerseys with social justice messages to shed light on the racial injustice happening in the Black community in America. Those messages include words like Black Lives Matters and equality, and also 3 NBA players, Andrew Agudala, I don't know if I massacred his name, Anthony Tolliver, and Jabari Parker, all decided to have the message group economics written on their jerseys. Small acts such as wearing a jersey with a message that reads group economics can also significantly impact the Black community, because as we know, we have been programmed by the television, by the television, by the computers, by the radio. So using signs like group economics on T-shirts, etc., is very important and gives more impact, because people don't like to read that much anymore. They just like to see things. So if they see something they like, they will jump onto it. So make it easy, guys. If you guys have, shirts with group economics on it, put them on, go around your neighborhood and see the reactions you're going to get by just having those type of words in your neighborhood. It will bring, it will bring consciousness into the Black person or individual, and also bring that individual into the right direction of what we need to do as a community. So just a sign gives a lot more than money can ever bring. So by just saying this, we also see the increasing numbers of Black Americans are participating in group economics to build wealth. For example, there's a group of 5 friends from Philadelphia that saved $50 per week for 2 years to purchase their first investment property. You see? You see what they did? $50 per week. They put together 2 years and they purchased a whole investment property with just $50. So to say, every penny counts. So the first one of all these, suggestions is the first one is to buy everyday items from black-owned businesses. So when you purchase an item from a black-owned company, you help that business feed and empower its community. You also helping black businesses employ people within their community, close racial wealth gap. That will close the racial wealth gap, and and also economically empower more black families and individuals. To support these businesses, you can start buying your everyday items like rice, yam, potatoes, all these commodities, toothpaste, hair care products, clothing, from a black-owned business directly. Yeah, that will help not only the community, but it will also close the wealth gap. So please, guys, these are some of the dimes we're going to give to you today. Second one is to create an investment group. An investment group refers to a self-managed group for individuals who meet for a purpose of investing their money into a common fund, such as real estate or stock markets. Like the story of the five friends who bought the investment property together, you can also pull together a group of reliable and trustworthy friends and family members to start that investment group. We can do it if we want to, we just have to do it. Third, share black owned products and services online. Word of mouth is one of the most powerful and effective marketing tools. When you share black owned companies online, you attract a familiar audience like family and friends who are more likely to buy black owned products or services due to the information coming from the trustworthy and valuable source. If you and your people in your network decide to buy those products and services, they will help increase its revenue generation with more income for black businesses. They can also hire in their own communities and add more resources and scale their businesses faster. 4, hire and upskill black employees. Hiring black employees will also help close the significant and long-standing racial gap within the job market. Additionally, allowing employees to further educate themselves through training, certification, classes, or obtaining a degree in a specialized skill genuinely shows if the company cares about its employees' personal and work development growth. When you hire or upscale your employees, it will allow them to grow within their company, but also if they decide to, they can also get a job that better suits their career paths and goals. We have to help each other, guys. This is all about helping hand. 5, purchase a home for a black real estate agent or a homeowner. What's the number one source of our personal wealth in America and the rest of the West is home ownership. Although redlining is illegal now in America, it was common for mortgage lenders to deny individuals and families mortgage loans based on their racial makeup. This allowed a massive racial wealth gap because black people were unable to buy homes. Moreover, even if Black people were lucky enough to buy a home, the red line neighborhoods would decrease the overall property value. When you purchase a home from a Black homeowner or real estate agent, you offer them an opportunity to build wealth. Also, when you buy a home from a Black family, it will also help close the home equity gap between Black Americans and white Americans, and also in the West itself at large. And coming to the last question or the last statement here, uh, you have to create a Su group to encourage economic empowerment. A Su group based on an honor and trust system is when a group of people work together to save a lump of sum of money. That money can then be used for a common goal, like buying a house or investing in a family car or anything else that has to do with your own lifestyle. The money can also be rotated among its members each pay cycle to help one another get ahead on their emergency savings fund. And these are practical examples of how you can build a stronger economy, a stronger community, a stronger Black community. So please, guys, go out there, help your Black, owners or Black businesses, because that's what we want. We want people to engage in capitalizing in their own communities, because we know that when you do that, you are automatically helping a whole generation to build wealth. And that's what we want. We want to build a generation of wealth. So what's your thoughts on this, Kel? You like it? Do you like the 6 points about group economics and how we can build our economy in our neighborhoods? Do you like the suggestions?
Yeah, anything that has templates that's going to lead towards liberation and it's structured well to execute the target. I approve and I'm down with it. To be fair, you have to have a template, don't you, in order to build up the economics. The only thing is what I always say, with any template, there must be a strategy of nationalism behind it, only for those who are African descendants. It must be based upon nationalism. But apart from that, I have no problem, brother.
Perfect. And I think I actually summed that up quite well. And let me see. Do you know the time? How far have we come in to this? I don't know, to be honest, Kale. Let me see. Do you know the time?
It's
been
9:10, 9:44 at the moment, 9:45.
Oh, so it's been 45 minutes.
45 minutes, yeah.
That's good. I have 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
And within those 15 minutes, I'm going to discuss this traditional economy and what is traditional economy. Or what we can do is to, just discuss certain topics that you think it's very important for us to discuss, involving, group economics, Black pound or Black dollar, or Black euro, what we can use, what we can do with it. Give me some examples, because I know you got some examples of. I think it was the building that you guys, maybe not you, but your collective helped to build. Maybe you can give that as an example for today's topic.
Well, you were going into the economics, the traditional African economics, which is very important because there needs to be some form of a template, a foundation that whatever situation we're in, we can use it I always say, for example, is to rely on our ancestors' methods, whether it be
Mm,
economic, whether it be military science, whether it be political science,
mm,
capitalize on that
mm,
and put it forward. For example, the Honorable Martin Luther King, what he did in Alabama and
mm,
the Montgomery coach
mm.
system when the
Yeah,
Europeans,
yeah,
he advised the Africans 386 days, do not spend on going the Europeans coach system. Very successful. That's economics. So if you're asking me what kind of way we should do, we should study the ancestors, how they understood it. So you was going to go into traditional African economics. I think that would be very great for us to know, and then we can modify that and
mm.
have a naturalistic method with it.
Yeah, perfect. So I can just tell you a little bit of the characteristics of traditional economy. So a traditional economy based on customs, traditions, and beliefs have several definitions and characteristics. So a traditional economy is a model on how community actually lives, depends depends on actual geography, culture, hierarchy, and traditions. Also, a traditional economy is a model upon age-old means of production, such as agriculture, fishing, hunting, and gathering. A traditional economy doesn't depend on a single currency. Instead, it relies on a system of barter and trader. A traditional economy depends also on the products and services produced to be fully used. Nothing is wasted in a traditional economy. So when they slaughter, for example, they slaughter a cow or slaughter a goat, you know, they don't leave anything. They make sure they eat the whole thing, you know, and that's one of those traditional ways of eating meat. I haven't eaten meat for more than soon more than 9 years. So I've been a vegan for 9 years. So yeah, that's a whole nother topic I want to have for another day. Speaking about African vegans, etc. But when it comes to our traditional ways of eating, we like to eat, a lot of meat, and cattle and stuff like that. So a traditional economy may also be one where a community or society actually moves geographically, such as the Maasai tribe following their cattle, or Cro-Magnon man who also followed his herd of animals to hunt. So the advantages of a traditional economies breed strong, tight knit communities where every member plays a role in either generating or supporting the production of goods and services. Traditional economies also creates an environment where each member of the community is aware of the stake involved and well aware of the role they play in contributing to the traditional economy. This knowledge and awareness and skills that are because of its outlooks is also then passed on to younger generations. And these are the things that I was speaking about when it comes to grassroots work. So when it comes to going out there and actually communicating with the masses, we have to actually be able to go out there, speak to them, knock on doors, see what we can actually do towards the certain problems that we see today. So also an advantage for having a traditional economical system is that it produces no industrial pollution, and keeps their living environment clean. So you just recycle. You recycle whatever you use. You recycle it back into earth. So everything you use, everything you use, you then recycle it back into the earth. What happens? No industrial pollution. You see, we have a cleaner environment. You see, and traditional economies also only produces and takes what they need. You see, this is the problem with Western way of capitalism. Yeah, is that we always tend to want more than what we actually need. Hence, the reason why we are in the situation that we are in. We have, national debts. You have, personal. You have private debt. You have governmental debt. You have so many different debts. Why do we have this? Because we use more than we actually need and have. So we are over consumers in the West, and we don't need to actually be over consumers. Hence the reason why traditional systems have lasted for thousands of years and never died out, because it regenerates. It doesn't die off. Economies die off, certain infrastructural systems die off. You don't use it anymore. You don't need it anymore. For example, petroleum. People still using petroleum cars, but soon petroleum cars are not going to be the choice that people want to have. People would love to have something else. So that's the thing. It dies off. Certain industries dies off, but traditional economical systems never dies. That's why we need to be very, very careful and hold those systems within our economical systems and traditional systems very, very close to us and dear to us. Because traditional economies only produces what they can and what they need. So there is no waste, no inefficiencies involved in producing the goods required to survive as a community. So that's what I wanted to speak on when it comes to the traditional ways and traditional economy and the advantages of using a traditional economy, because when it comes to it, we have many different economies. We have a capitalistic economy, we have a socialistic economy, we have a communist economy, we have traditional economy. So capitalistic economy, historically, these societies leverage market forces such as supply and demand, which are strong motivated to earn a profit instead of being happy with what you have, to shape their economy and economical models. You have the socialistic economies. While socialism has been stretched in different directions by political parties or participants in recent years, it's also its definition has remained stable over time. Basically, socialism is defined as economic model where all citizens in a country, region, or community each own the factors of production equality. Yeah, equally. Typically, equal economic outcomes are generated after the election of a democratically chosen government. That's where things fall apart, is when you start using these things and you then have mass of people that would like to have equality, and everybody wants equality. Everybody wants equality. So at the end of the day, you're going to overproduce, and then there's going to be some people that have more, even though you say it's an equal system. Yeah, it's still not equal. So there's a lot of things that we think is good for us, but also we need to look at different other traditional ways of looking at economy. So you also have a third one here, a communist economy. So communism is an economical model where the collective governed by centralized government owns any and all properties located in the collective. Communism is a model upon a classless society where the work of the citizens, the fruits of their labor, are taken by the government and distributed throughout the population based on their need. So in this case, it's only based on what you need. So what happens is that you overproduce, yeah, and then you put them inside of these chambers, your food in these chambers, and then when people are starving and screaming, "Hey, we need food," then you distribute. But you don't distribute when it's supposed to be distributed. That's why we go into the traditional way of economy. This economic system relies on tradition and culture to choose what goods and services will be produced, who does goods and services will be produced. So how those goods and services will be produced is based upon the traditional culture that is chosen, and how those goods and services will be distributed throughout the population. That's why a traditional economical system with a Pan-African stamp is something that we need to use in order for us to build and gather momentum in our struggle, and also make sure that we excel in every in every section of life, in every section of this economical system that we are based upon. We need to find new solutions, and like I said to you, group economics is one of them. I wanted to show you a 3-minute clip, but unfortunately I'm having some technical issues, technical difficulties to actually show you this. But I think till next time, episode 12, we will have that clip running for the audience to see and to listen to. We will have the video on our server, on the Discord server, in the African investment section of the server. Kale here is he's the owner of one of the channels, which is the Pan-African channel that we have specifically for the Pan-African ideology, and what we can learn from Pan-Africanism. So like I always say to you guys, if you like this video, please subscribe and like, and also if you can see in the description box, you will see a link where it says Discord. That's our Discord server. Go in, become a part of the movement. We are now more than 100 plus in the actual server, and it's growing every week. And hopefully you guys can be a part of that growth and be a part of that solution. I want to say thank you, Kale, for coming in today.
I appreciate it, Mo. It's very educational and definitely needed for the massive on traditional economics. I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I mean, I need to make this clear for our people, especially Africans and people in the diaspora, to understand that this is what we need to focus on. We need to focus on Black businesses. We need to focus on building capital within our communities, because there is power within the Black pound, Black dollar, a Black euro. There is power behind the currency. You are the tool to make that power. Do not miss out. Do not miss out. Do not take this for granted, guys. Go into our Discord server, Be a part of the change that you want to see in this world. Be a part of the movement that we are growing each and every week. I know I'm having this session every week. I don't know if I should have it every two, should have it even more often, 2 times a week, 3 times a week. But it's going to take a lot of time for me as a student as well. So I need to focus on my studies as well. So I want to say thank you, everyone that came in. Kale, thank you. And everyone else that joined this wonderful discussion about group economics, Black empowerment, and also traditional economies, going through traditional economies. Do you have anything, the last thing to say before we end today, Kale?
Yeah, just hopefully, you know, it's getting very engaging, and hopefully next week, God willing, the topic will progress. So yeah, see everyone next week. God willing.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And like I always say to the people, you know, there's only us. You need to look at yourself. Yeah, there's no such thing as, oh, it's you, it's individual. No, it's us. It's just us. So we need to find that. Yeah, there's a quote that says that. I think it was Huey P. Newton that said that. He said, "I don't see no justice. The only thing I see is just us." Yeah, take that with you guys, and hopefully you come to the next episode of N1P podcast. Yeah, the faculty is open basket. I want to say thank you so much for coming in. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Abantu.